Hello, hello. Welcome back to the mat and welcome to our crown chakra practice. We have reached the last of these 7 chakras. We are now at the sahasrara crown chakra. This is the 7th chakra. If you have missed the preceding 6 chakra practices, I invite you to go back and check those out. And if you'd like to learn more about chakras in general, check the blog post linked in the description. There's also a blog in the description about the crown chakra in specific. So if you want to go more in depth about this chakra, head there and read more about it. But in a nutshell, the crown chakra is our connection to universal consciousness. So when we talk about the 8 limbs of yoga and we reach samadhi, or we're aiming to reach samadhi, which is bliss. It is what's known as enlightenment. And this stage is characterized by a falling away of your individual consciousness and realizing that you are one with universal consciousness. It's all quite abstract and a little hard to grasp, but the crown chakra is our gateway to that. It is our connection to universal consciousness. So we have moved really far from the physicality of the physical, more physical chakras, and we're heading really into this divine space of connecting with universal consciousness. For this practice today, I'm going to suggest 2 yoga blocks to have handy. If you only have one should be okay, but if you've got 2, go ahead and grab those and have those close to your mat. If you haven't joined us in the online tribe, come on in and do that. Link is in the description below. And subscribe to the channel here for more free yoga. Now go ahead and unroll your mat, and I will meet you right here in a tall seat. Alrighty, so finding whatever seat feels most comfortable for you today and sitting up nice and tall. Any seat that allows you to sit with a really long spine, reaching the crown of the head skyward. Allow the eyelids to close here as we take just a few moments to settle in. And crown chakra is your connection to your higher self, your capital S self. And you can envision a sort of a shimmering violet, almost white, right at the crown of the head, connecting you to the entire universe. The bija mantra, or seed mantra, for the sahasrara chakra is Om, but it's a silent Om. So for today, we'll take it as an Om with the lips sealed, so it'll sound just like the M part of your Om. And we'll take it in the same melodic fashion we've been taking all of our chakra mantras. Taking it 3 times, feel free to join me or simply listen. Taking a deep inhale. Allowing the vibrations to reverberate at the crown of the head. And then gently opening the eyes. And I'd like us to begin by really locating the crown of the head. So taking hold of one of your yoga blocks, and if your mom ever made you walk around with a book on your head for proper posture, that's kind of what this is going to be like. You're going to bring the block onto the top of the head and feel for the spot where the block balances. Once you have balance there, you'll know you've located the crown of the head. So see if you can allow the block to balance as you close down the eyes. And imagine that you're pressing the crown up into the block, reaching crown up to the sky, opening this gateway to universal consciousness. And then opening the eyes. You can go ahead and remove your block. So I'd like you to kind of keep the ghost of the block there at the crown of the head throughout practice today, keeping an awareness right there at the crown. Go ahead and come onto your belly. If you're sitting on a block or another prop, you can go ahead and move that out of the way. We're going to start in a crocodile pose. So coming to lie on the belly, turn the toes to face out, the heels will face in, stacking one hand on top of the other, bring the forehead onto the hands. Taking a few breaths here. From here, we'll move into a gentle cobra pose. So go ahead and bring the tops of the feet flat onto the earth. Hands are going to come underneath the shoulders. As you inhale, pull shoulder blades back, lift the chest, open the heart forward, coming into a cobra. As you exhale, lower the chest towards the earth, lift the hips up, bring them back into a child's pose. And as you inhale, you're going to roll out. So coming through a cat spine, so rolling through your cat, and then dropping the hips to the earth, opening the chest, cobra pose. And then exhaling to bring the hips back into a child's pose. Inhale, roll it out. Find your cobra. Exhale, hips back, child's pose. Inhale, roll out. And exhale, bring it back. Let's take two more like this. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale, come forward, opening the chest. And exhale back. Child's pose. Taking a breath or two here. And then lifting the hips, making your way into a downward facing dog. Take any movement that feels good here in your downward facing dog. Check in with calves and hamstrings. When you feel satisfied with movement, find stillness here in the pose. As you inhale, come forward into plank pose, shoulders over wrists, navel to the spine. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, plank pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Go ahead and walk the feet up to the hands. Finding a ragdoll fold, so feet are hip width distance. Bend the knees, let the torso and head hang heavy here. Shaking the head out, yes and no, maybe. On an inhale, lift halfway, reach the crown of the head actively forward, and exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway, crown of the head reaches. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, bring hands to hips, keep a bend in the knees. Inhale, come to stand with a flat back. Finding your Tadasana mountain pose at the top of your mat. Big toes touch, small gap between the heels. Go ahead and lift the arms up high, Urdhva Hastasana. Take hold of the right wrist with the left hand. Inhale, lengthen tall. Exhale, lean over towards the right, lean towards the left, opening right side of the body. Root down through the right foot. Grow out through the right side. Inhale, come back to center. Taking hold of left wrist with the right hand. Inhale, lengthen tall. Exhale, lean towards the right. Rooting down and through the left foot as you reach through left fingertips. Inhale, lift back up to center. Release the arms by the sides of the body. Stand up really nice and tall. We're going to move through 3 rounds of Surya Namaskar A, and I invite you to take these on your own breath and to take any variation, modification you like. So if you want to go full out and jump back into your chaturangas, into your upward facing dog, feel free. If you'd like to step back and lower knees, chest and chin, or lower the knees and then the torso, taking your cobra, whatever speaks to you. Tune in to what it is that your body would like to do with these Surya Namaskar A's and take that. So 3 rounds on your own. Go ahead. You should be starting or almost starting your last round of Surya A. We're going to meet in downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here. And feel free to close the eyes as much as feels comfortable in this practice. So I invited you to do the same in the third eye practice. And the crown chakra is also one that really requires going inward. So as much as you can, see if you can close the eyes and really take the attention inside. And we're going to step the right foot up in between the hands next to the right hand for warrior one. Left heel comes down, lifting the torso. Go ahead and lift the arms, find the pose. From here, we're going to open the arms out into a T or into cactus arms, and then bring the right arm underneath the left. We're coming into an eagle wrap. So options here to just bring the hands onto shoulders if that feels like enough, or you can lift the forearms, bring the backs of the hands to touch, or maybe you wrap the forearms, bringing the palms to touch. And then here you're going to lift the elbows in line with the shoulders and pull the hands away from the face. As you inhale, begin to lift, reaching the crown of the head up and back, finding a gentle back bend here. Notice if you're losing the bend in the right knee, bring the bend back into that leg. Go ahead and lift torso to center, release the arms, lift them high, take an inhale. Exhale, release hands onto the earth, step a right foot back, take vinyasa if you'd like. Inhale to open the chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot's gonna step up next to the left hand, right heel down, finding warrior one on the left side. Lifting torso, lifting arms, find steadiness here. And once again, finding that T or the cactus, left arm underneath the right this time. And again, finding the variation that works for you, the eagle wrap in the arms, lifting elbows in line with shoulders, hands away from the face. As you inhale, lift, imagine a string pulling the crown of the head up towards the sky and then slightly back. Go ahead and lift the torso to center, release the arms, lift them high, take an inhale. Exhale, hands to the earth, step left foot back, take your vinyasa as you'd like. Right foot steps forward once again, warrior one, right side. Lift the torso, lift the arms. From here, we're going to come into a supported warrior three. So you're going to lean the chest forward, bring hands onto the earth, lifting the left leg up and back. If you'd like, you can bring your blocks underneath your hands here for your supported warrior three, or the hands can be on the earth, however feels most comfortable for you. Left leg is reaching actively towards the back of your space. The left toes are pointing down and the crown of the head is reaching long and forward. So one long line of energy from crown of the head through the left heel. From here, we're going to come into a revolved half moon. So the left hand is going to stay down where it is as you start to open the right hand up towards the sky. So the crown of the head is still reaching long and forward, but you're twisting over towards the right side. Keep the left leg super active. Take one more inhale. Exhale, bring the right hand down. We're coming into standing splits. So bring hands off the blocks and begin to drop crown of the head towards the right foot. Left foot is reaching up towards the sky. You can stay right here. Maybe you play with the balance. Maybe bringing right hand onto the ankle or the calf. Maybe you play with bringing both hands. And you can stay right here. Play with the balance, or maybe play with some handstand hops. Hands will come onto the earth. You're going to reach the left foot up really actively. Bring the gaze between the hands and take a few hops up and down. These don't have to be big hops. They can be tiny little hops. If you catch some air, catch it. And then we'll all release into a vinyasa, meaning in downward facing dog. Take one more breath here. Left foot steps next to left hand, finding your warrior one. Set up the legs, feel really nice and steady here on two legs. Coming into your supported warrior three with your blocks or not. Hands come down onto the earth. Begin to shift weight onto the left foot, lifting the right leg straight back. Crown of the head reaching forward, reaching back through right heel. Coming into your revolved half moon. Right hand stays where it is as you begin to twist the torso towards the left, lifting left arm towards the sky. Take one more inhale. Exhale, left hand comes down. Coming into your standing splits. Hands come by the foot, crown of the head now drops down towards the earth as the right leg reaches up towards the sky. Maybe you play with balance here, bringing hands onto the ankle or the calf. Maybe you play with a few handstand hops, making them big or little. And we'll all meet in downward facing dog. From here, we're going to take some donkey kicks into our malasana squat. So for your donkey kicks, you're going to look between the hands. You're going to bend the knees deeply, bringing the hips back, and you're going to kick your own butt here. So you're going to lift the hips up really high. Try to kick your own butt. And again, these don't have to be super big hops. You can keep them slightly smaller, but play with them. And then eventually you'll hop up and bring feet next to the hands for malasana squat. Or you can just step them there and we'll say you did. If your heels are super lifted off the earth, bring a blanket or a towel underneath them to support you. And if this does not feel comfortable on the hips, feel free to bring a block underneath your seat and sit down on your block. Take some of the work out of this. Wherever you are though, make sure that the tailbone is reaching towards the earth and the crown of the head is reaching up high towards the sky. Palms are at heart center, pressing the knees in towards the legs. From here, we're coming into Bakasana crow pose. So hands come onto the earth. Go ahead and bring the toes to touch, so feet are together, opening the knees wide. Again, come down low between the legs. Bring the arms back, palms flat. Hug the legs in towards the arms as you come onto toes and shift forward. So gaze forward. If you look down, you'll go down. Maybe one foot lifts, maybe the other. If you feel super comfortable and you want to bring this into a tripod headstand, you'll bring the head towards the earth, gaze is back, and then lift the knees off the arms, lifting legs up towards the sky. Otherwise, you'll stay in your crow pose. From here, if you're in your tripod headstand, see if you can pike the legs, reaching them towards the back of your mat, and then shoot the legs back into your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. This is where we all meet, regardless of what you did or did not take. Take a big breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and let it go. And from here, we're going to come to lie down for bridge pose. So you can hop the feet forward and come onto your seat and then lie all the way back onto your back. Bringing soles of both feet flat onto the earth. And with the arms extended next to the body on the ground, you should be able to graze the backs of your heels with your middle fingers. Making sure that the feet are parallel and right underneath the knees. Go ahead and press down into the feet as you lift the hips up towards the sky. And then maybe you snuggle the shoulders underneath you, clasping the hands, pressing the arms down into the earth as you lift the hips high, hugging the legs towards the midline. So imagine a block between the thighs. Go ahead and release the hands and roll yourself down vertebra by vertebra, bringing the hips towards the feet. Take a moment to allow the knees to rest in towards each other. We'll come into 2 more back bends. You can stay with bridge pose, so exactly what we just did. Feel free to come into that 2 more times. If you'd like to come into Urdhva Dhanurasana or wheel pose, then you'll come with me. You're going to set up the feet the exact same way. Hands are going to come next to the ears. The fingertips are pointing down towards the shoulders. Notice that the tendency is for the elbows to open out really wide. Hug the elbows in towards the midline, so hugging elbows in towards the head. Press into the hands, press into the feet, and lift up onto the crown of the head. From here, adjust the arms, make sure the elbows are hugging in towards the middle, and then press into the hands and lift the head off the earth. Coming into your Urdhva Dhanurasana, hips pressing up towards the sky. And then to come out, tuck the chin in towards the chest as you bend the elbows, bring the back of the head onto the earth, and then roll down vertebra by vertebra, bringing hips to the feet. Release the arms, allow the knees to rest in towards each other, and take a breath here. Coming into 1 more back bend. So again, if you would like to come into bridge pose, feel free, take that. If you'd like to come into Urdhva Dhanurasana, your wheel pose, then come on back into that. Hands next to the ears, fingertips pointing down, hugging elbows towards the midline. Press into hands and feet, come onto the crown of the head. Adjust the arms, hug elbows in, and then lift up. Wherever you are, notice if you're clenching your glutes and allow them to release. And if you're in Urdhva Dhanurasana, to come on out, chin to the chest, bend the elbows, back of the head comes to the earth, slowly roll down, hips to the feet. And this time go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together, allow the knees to open out wide, coming into your Supta Baddha Konasana, allowing the lower spine to release. If this feels like too much, feel free to bring 2 blocks underneath the thighs and support yourself here. From here, we'll come into our inversion practice. So you can roll yourself up or just lift yourself up. And go ahead and come onto kneeling. So you have a couple of options here for your crown chakra inversion today. So if you do not want to come all the way upside down, or if you don't want to put the pressure on the arms, you can come into rabbit pose. So rabbit pose is going to look like this. So from kneeling, you're going to bring the crown of the head onto the earth, right in front of the knees. So making sure that the crown of the head, so that spot where we put the block at the beginning of class, comes right onto the girth. Hands are back by the heels, and then from here you'll lift the hips up high. And you'll stay right here. This is your rabbit pose. So that is one option for your inversion today. Your next option is to come into any step of headstand that you'd like to come into. So we'll begin by measuring the distance we want between the forearms, taking hold of the bottoms of the arms here, bringing the elbows onto the earth, releasing the arms, interlacing the fingers, creating a bowl with our hands, and then bringing the outside edges of the forearms and the hands firmly onto the earth. Tuck the toes, lift knees and hips, find your dolphin pose shape with a bowl in the hands. You can stay right here. You can walk the feet in until the shoulders are stacked right above the elbows. And again, if you do not want to bring the pressure onto the head, you can allow the head to hang here. So crown of the head is going to drop towards the earth. The gaze is back towards the feet, but the head is not on the ground. So you can just let the head dangle here, and you can stay right here. If you'd like to come a little bit further, you'll walk a little further. You'll bring the crown of the head onto the earth, cradling the back of the head with the hands, maybe bringing one knee in towards the chest, maybe the other, and maybe lifting the feet up towards the sky. Really active legs. To come on out, bringing knees back in towards the chest, dropping feet to the earth, knees to the earth, coming into a child's pose, stacking one fist on top of the other, bringing forehead onto the fists, gently turning head side to side, allowing the neck to release. So whether you took headstand or you took rabbit pose, let's all meet here in this child's pose. Forehead stacked on top of two fists. And from here, slowly making your way onto your back. Hugging both knees in towards the chest, giving them a squeeze. And then crossing the right knee on top of the left And taking both knees, dropping them over to the left side, keeping right shoulder on the earth, coming into your supine twist. Bringing the gaze over the right shoulder. Lifting knees back to center. Changing the cross of the legs, bringing left on top of right, and then dropping both knees over towards the right. Left shoulder stays on the earth, bringing the gaze over the left shoulder. And lifting knees back to center. Undoing the cross, hugging both knees into the chest. And then from here, we're going to come into one last squeeze and then Savasana. So if there's anything that you are craving before finding Savasana, feel free to pause and take whatever that is now. Otherwise, join me here, lifting the forehead up to the knees, making yourself into a tiny little ball. And beginning to squeeze every muscle in your body. So all the muscles in the hands and the feet and the legs and the face, arms and shoulders. Take a big inhale. Exhale, release everything onto the mat. Savasana. Legs as wide as your mat. Feet flop out to the sides. Arms by the sides of the body. Palms turn up to the sky. The chin is tucked slightly so that the back of the neck is long. Allow yourself to surrender here. Surrender all control over the breath. Surrender the weight of your body into the earth beneath you. Surrender all the work that you've done. Surrender to the universe, knowing that it's got your back. If you have more time for Savasana, please stay here. Otherwise, start to bring gentle movement into fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Extend the arms long overhead. Take a nice long stretch. And bringing the feet flat onto the mat and roll onto the side of your choice. Using the top hand to help press you up, make your way into a comfortable seat. Sitting up nice and tall, feel the sit bones root down as the crown of the head reaches high. Bringing the palms to touch at heart center. Closing with that sealed lipped Om. Take a deep inhale. Thank you so much for joining me here on the mat today. Namaste.